everyone. It is 8:30 on Monday, March the 7th, and it's time for the morning briefing. Snapshot of region this morning. We do have updated numbers from the unaccompanied children down in the Rio Grande Valley. You see our declaration status is there. And we completed our damage assessments in Texas on Friday. And we have no fire management grant request to talk about this morning. Now as we switch over to the Geo platform, things are quiet right now. Jennifer's going to tell us all about the weather here in just a moment. No changes to the status at national. All are at level 4. Same thing with the region. All of our state EOCs at this time are at level 4, steady state. Our IMATs are deployed. 1 is in Arkansas, and 2 is in training at Anniston. We have no shelters to talk about this morning. And taking a look at power outages this morning, Texas has 4,188. All of our other states are below 500. And now we turn it over to Janet, Weather Service, to tell us all about what is happening with the weather.
Thanks, Paul. Good morning. Yeah, you can see on the radar a few showers showing up, and that's going to increase in coverage today as we head through the week. We do have some red flag warnings in effect for the panhandles and eastern portions of New Mexico, and that's going to be this afternoon and evening due to low relative humidities out there as well as gusty winds. We also have a flash flood watch in effect for the border of Texas and Louisiana, so East Texas, Western Louisiana, up into the Arklatex, but that doesn't start until tomorrow, so I'll go into some more details on what we're expecting rain-wise as we head into the next few days. So if we go to the next slide. Summary for the week, it's going to be a busy week, and it's going to be a slow-moving system. So the impacts begin today. We are looking for some severe weather out over central portions of the region today. That's going to increase in coverage tomorrow, and actually a little bit more of a risk, severe weather-wise, tomorrow. And then the rainfall that begins today, not too much of a flooding threat until we get into tomorrow with the heavier rain, and that heavy rain is going to stick around through at least Thursday and then begin to taper off on Friday. So you can see the river flooding responding to that heavy rain as we head into the middle towards the end of the week, and I'll go into some more detail in a minute on that. So if we look at the next 5 days kind of individually, today we are looking at a slight risk, if you want to go to the next slide. Yep, perfect. Slight risk of severe storms over central portions of the region this afternoon, and that'll continue into the overnight hours tonight. Damaging winds and large hail are the main threats, but we could see an isolated tornado with this activity, mainly during the afternoon and evening hours. Overnight is just going to be the large hail and damaging winds. And then we have those critical fire weather conditions out to the west. As we head into tomorrow, in the upper right, we do have an enhanced risk of severe storms over southeast Texas, and that slight risk extends from Oklahoma through the eastern, pretty much 2/3 of Texas tomorrow, and that heavy rain flash flooding threat in the orange area from Arkansas down through East Texas, Western Louisiana. All threats possible tomorrow with that severe weather, hail, damaging winds, and tornado possible. It'll be ongoing tomorrow morning and last pretty much throughout the day into Wednesday morning. Lower left-hand corner, you can see the heavy rain continues from Arkansas into Louisiana and East Texas, and the slight risk of severe storms continues on Wednesday as well over East Texas and Louisiana. That's going to transition more into a damaging wind threat, but tornadoes will still be possible early in the day on Wednesday. As we head into Thursday, that heavy rain flash flooding potential continues over Arkansas and Louisiana, and we could see it linger over southeast Louisiana on Friday as well before it moves out of the area. So if we go to the next slide where we're looking at precipitation totals, today, like I said, not too much of a heavy rain flood threat. The majority of the rain is going to be in north central Texas and really under 2 inches, so not that big of a deal. But when we look at the 5-day total precip amounts, that's a 10-inch bullseye right centered along the Arklatex region, and pretty good coverage of that 10 inches of rainfall that we're expecting over the next 5 days. It's going to be tomorrow and Wednesday, the main threats, and then continuing into Thursday, mainly over Arkansas and Louisiana. So looking at the river floods and what's this going to do to the river floods, the good news is only a few points in minor flood stage right now over this area. So we're starting off with relatively dry soils with the exception of one heavy rain event we had a few weeks ago. So we're starting in a good place. But with the 10 inches of rainfall into the rivers, what we are looking at is a rise into minor to moderate flood stages for most locations in eastern Oklahoma, Arkansas, East Texas, and Louisiana. And that'll be by midweek, Wednesday, Thursday timeframe, and some rivers not responding until the weekend. We could see some isolated locations that may make it up into major flood. That mainly right now with the current forecasted rainfall looks to be in southwest Louisiana. The rest of the locations only looking at minor to moderate flooding. There's a low chance that some more sites in this area could get to major flood, but we'd have to see more than that 10 inches of rainfall that's currently forecasted to get that to happen. So if we look at kind of a comparison, this would kind of compare to the first week of May, the event that we had last year, where there's room in the lakes, the rivers aren't full, but if the rain were to continue beyond Friday, which we're not expecting it to, if that happens, then we could see some additional, more concerning river flooding. But we are looking right now at a relatively dry weekend into early next week. So again, we're not looking at widespread major flooding at this point. So if we go to the next slide, the drought monitor, this is going to be interesting because the drought monitor that comes out on Thursday is only going to take today's rainfall into account. So I don't think you'll see a whole lot of change on the drought monitor that's released on Thursday. It'll be the following week that you see the changes with this rainfall. And space weather, we did actually have a geomagnetic storm last night into the overnight hours, but it's settling back down and should be quiet by midweek. And that's all I have unless there's any questions.
Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate that. If there's any questions for the Weather Service, type those in the chat window. If you're on the phone, ask your question. While you're doing that, we'll take a look at the events going on around the region. Oops, I'm sorry. I put that in there, but I forgot to unhide the slide. So, severe weather is defined as, is that a true statement? And Rob is the first one to answer along with Pete and Randy. Yes, it is. True statement. Also, today is National Be Heard Day. Any questions this morning? All right, everyone. Have a great Monday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.